I am not feeling Anna at all.
This is already starting off with drama, and I am loving it, okay? I am really digging this book. Relieved and also, again, shocked because the language is so easy to digest. It's like you don't really feel marriage. He just looked like he want to be with the women. You can kick it, we can hang out, but then when I'm sick of you, bye-bye, go to the next one. You know, he all right.
Girl, we got more tea. First of all, he don't have no money. He is broke as a joke, okay?
That's no way to carry on an affair. You got to be extremely discreet. If I was her, if, you know, Varansky, we in a room together or whatever, a party, you know, how you doing? But no one would know that I know him like that. Because I don't want nobody saying nothing crazy to me. Why does Anna have, look, Varansky, her baby daddy, her lover, and then her husband also in the same room? And then Varansky, like just sitting there like a little girl, putting his hands in, the way to describe it, putting his hands in his face and looking down and crying. Then this man, oh, this frustrated me. Hey guys, so welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, finally, I finished Anna Karenina. Now, if you guys have been on this journey with me, I started Anna Karenina back in January of 2024. And that was on my TBR. I wanted to read Anna Karenina. I always wanted to read it. And when I tell you, it took me this long. And the reason why is I just got distracted with books. Y'all know 2024, I had so many kicks, and I would read it and then stop reading it. Read it and then stop reading it. And then for months, like stop reading it. Then I said, you know what? I really want to, my goal was to finish it before the new year, and that didn't work because again, got distracted. Did read a good amount like New Year's Eve, and today I finished it. So in this video, I wanted to recap and just everything when it comes to Anna Karenina. So before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so like I said, Anna Karenina, I wanted to read this. It was on my TBR last year, and I told you guys that I always say time and time again that classics can be very laborious. So last year when I got into them, I was really researching heavily on classics that are not laborious, that has, like I always say once again, drama and tea. And this one has drama and tea. It is not boring. Now, there are some passages I would say a little bit as kind of goes on, but then it picks right back up. And it starts off with a bang. It honestly does. And how I did navigate this is I had the audiobook and I had the physical book. When I do read classics, that's like mandatory, I know, for me. In order for me to get through it, I do have to have the audio along with it. And then this book with this capacity, you got to have the audio. This book is about, what, 800 and some pages? Is it 800 and some pages? Wait. Yeah, this book is like 815 or something like that. So this, you have to have the audio. I would recommend it. Now, it shouldn't have taken me basically almost a year to read. Now, this really, you could read this in a month or two. Actually, I remember when I read A Little Life, and that was like 800 and some pages. It took me a whole month. So this book, a book of this capacity, it's doable. You just have to be very consistent. That's what it is. And I wasn't. I just kept on going back and forth. So yeah, that's why it took me so long. As you guys saw in the previous clips, my recap of me reading this book, y'all see I just was having a ball with this. This was a fun read. This also would be a perfect book for a book club. It's a conversational piece because the things that Anna does, it's ridiculous. And it's some other characters like her brother, but mainly it's what Anna does. And it looked like her brother and her, they had, when it came to marriages and infidelity issues, they had a problem because both of them cheated on their spouse. But I would say the one thing that, you know, and it's just, it is what it is. Men can do what they want to do. They can sleep with everybody and all that, and they're not ruined. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, men will be men. But when Anna did what she did, I mean, girl, shunned like nobody's business. She couldn't do anything at all. And I'm not justifying what she did was wrong. Totally wrong. The fact that you cheated on your husband, you have a child. I mean, what she did was wrong. When I was reading it, which is not a shock, but it was like, even Vronsky, her lover, he wasn't shunned by society. He was able to go out and do everything he wanted to. With her, no ma'am. And the same thing with her brother. Now, in this review, and also if you have watched the previous videos from the Black Girl Reads Anna Karenina series, you know that it's spoilers. I cannot read this book. I cannot talk about this book without spoilers. So if you haven't read this book and you don't want to know what's going to happen, I would leave right now. It's just spoilers all around. Let me just give you a recap. So obviously you have a woman named Anna Karenina. She's married to Alexia, and she has a son, adores her son. Her husband, not so much. She just married him because, came from something. He works in the government, and, he has weight to his name. Never loved him, and also vice versa. He never loved her either. She just was like at the right place at the right time. And she just bored with her life and everything. So she meets Vronsky, and he's a player. He sweeps her off of, her feet, and they have an affair. And you see how basically it goes. I would say the one thing that just got me with this book, girl, like I said before, this book was so ghetto. I think the key scenes that got me was when she had the baby, and after she has little Anna, how you have your lover and your husband in the same room with you and y'all talking. That got me. Then what also got me too, she adored her son, and she left her son because Alexia's like, you're not taking my son. He did hang that over her head. And so I guess she was like, well, you know what? I can't have him, and my life is already miserable. I might as well just go to Italy. And that's what she does after she has Anna, which she almost dies after she gives birth to her daughter. But then they go to Italy. They're, no one knows them in Italy. But then it's like, well, it's nothing to do. We've had our little vacation. Let's go back to Moscow. And they do that, and it is horrible because no one will talk to them, especially Anna. And she resents the fact that Veronica can go out in society and still have, his regular life or whatever. But when Anna goes out, there was a particular scene which he told her, I don't think you should go out. And she insisted to go out to the theater. Girl, that scene.
Everyone's looking.
Let them look. Fetch my cloak. What are we coming to? It's an insult.
She goes out to the theater. Everybody turns and looks at her. Then one gentleman, she asked for like a program, because she is sitting with someone. She asked for a program, and he tries to give it to her, and the wife like, no way, and just goes off. Okay, and everyone, the event hasn't started yet or whatever. Everyone turns around, and like, she is just mortified, okay? And that lady leaves the theater and everything. And then what got me is when she come back home, because she leave early, she go blame it on Varansky. My thing is, he told you not to come. And then also too, girl, why would you even put yourself in a situation when people don't like you no more? Like, you literally had an affair, you had a baby. Why would you go out in society thinking that you were going to be able to live a normal life? A lot of stuff that Anna did, it was just like, why are you being so stupid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you put yourself in that predicament? You honestly think people were not going to forget? You left your husband, you had an affair, and you had a baby on him. Anna was my least favorite character, okay? But I do have to say, when she got on the pages, she made it more interesting, because again, I mean, her story was just beyond shocking and scandalous. But I still don't like the fact that how society treated her. They didn't have to treat her that badly. Okay, what she did was wrong. What she did was wrong. She wasn't the first, she won't be the last, and her brother messed around and he was fine. That scene got me. And then I did like when Dolly went to visit her, because again, no one was even visiting her. And she was relieved because that was like her only friend. And when they were in Moscow, like I said, nobody would talk to them at all. You look at me, she said, and think, can she be happy in her situation? Well, and what? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I am unforgettably happy. Something magical has happened to me, like a dream. Suddenly woken up and feel that all these fears are gone. I woke up, I lived through the torment and fear, and for a long time now, especially since we came here, I've been so happy, she said, looking at Dolly. And then she goes on. Also, I think Anna goes, because of her situation, through like these depression, episodes where she's really happy one day and she's not. She was happy because at that time when Dolly went to go see her, and then also she would psych herself up, say, oh, I'm so happy with this situation, and then she, to make herself feel better when she wasn't. And then another thing too that got me with this book, you would think, okay, that they made all of these things happen to get together. They stopped like being intimate. They started arguing because she thought that he was messing around because he was able to go into society and she wasn't. And then she got to the point where, you guys, she didn't want him to leave for like a second, like go out to the store. It was no. And his thing is, I'm not leaving you. She just had that fear where it was very, very difficult for him to even go out. And also too, I love how Dolly, even though she didn't agree with her situation, but she was still there for her. This section too, how Anna asked about her situation, like, do you agree with what I've done and all this other stuff, just want to give her a take. And Dolly says, I have no opinion, she said, but I've always loved you, and when you love someone, you love the whole person as they are and not as you like them to be. I love that line when she says you love the whole person as they are. Dolly, I would say, was one of her favorites. Of course, Levin was one of my favorites. I think also too, what got me again is Anna acted like she didn't understand why people weren't coming to visit her and see her. It's just like, girl, do you know what you did? So that part, yeah. And then let me read you the part when she finally kills herself because she just can't take it. She says, and in this same instinct, she was horrified at what she was doing. Where am I? What am I doing? Why? She wanted to rise, to throw herself back, but something huge pushed at her head and dragged her over. Lord, forgive me for everything, she said. And the candle by the light which she had been reading, that book, filled with anxiety, deception, grief, and evil, flared up brighter than ever, lit up from her all that had once been in darkness, grew dim, and went out forever. So she basically throws herself underneath like the train, and yeah. I do know in the movie, the way that they do it, it's like, girl, there's no way it would have been that soft. She probably would have been like decapitated. Like, yeah. But in the newer one with Keira Knightley. But yeah, and that's on part 8. That's like the last chapter of part 8 when she dies. And then that's the last chapter, part 7, because these are in parts. So, and there's only 8 parts. And then only in the 8th part, you just hear about her in the beginning, and then they're done talking about her. You just hear about Levin. And Levin and Kitty, they end up getting married. And you guys know with Kitty really liked Vronsky, but Vronsky didn't like her. Vronsky wanted Anna. And then because of that, Kitty always resented, Anna. And yeah. But this part also got me where when she dies, Vronsky's all toe up. So it says, you can't imagine, for 6 weeks he didn't speak to anyone and ate only when I dragged him to. This is his mother talking. And he couldn't be left alone for a single moment. We took away everything he might have used to kill himself. We lived on the ground floor, but we couldn't predict anything. He already tried to shoot himself because of her, she said. And the old lady's brows knitted at the memory. Yes, she ended as such a woman should have ended. Even the death she chose was mean and low. We had no idea that she was right there at the station. The evening I had just gone to my room when my Mary told me that some lady at the station had thrown herself under a train. Oh, what is there to say? The Countess went on, waving her hand. A terrible time. No, whatever you say, she was a bad woman. Well, what are the desperate passions? It's all to prove something special. So she proved it, ruined herself and 2 fine men, her husband and my unfortunate son. And what about her husband? He took her daughter, but now he suffers terribly for having given his daughter to a stranger, but he can't go back on his word. For her husband, it's easier after all. She set him free, but my poor son give all of himself. He abandoned everything, career, me, and even so, she took no pity on him, but desperately disobeyed him completely. God forgive me, but I can't help hating her memory, looking at the ruin of my son. But how is he now? So the mama was toe up, okay? Couldn't stand her. And like I told you guys, and like I said, Vronsky and Anna had a daughter, and they weren't married because they couldn't get married because Alexia, her husband, would not grant a divorce. So legally, Anna was actually her husband's, daughter. So really, Ransky, like, he couldn't have her if he wanted her anyway, and he just realized, let me just go on. Now, I do think there is a movie I remember seeing where it talks about like the daughter, and I do want to see that because when we, she's a baby basically. But there was a movie made where you see how she was, and I think she does know like about her parents or whatever. But yeah, this book, I would highly recommend you guys read it. Again, don't do like me. You don't have to read it for a whole year. I recommend you don't do that. Again, you can get this done with like a month or two, but it's worth the read. I would read it with audio. I gave it a 3-star. It's a good book. I don't think it's a great book because again, but again, this is from a person that doesn't read a lot of classics, and I'm just getting into classics. It's a good, solid book, and I would recommend it. Now, it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't. It did have Drummond, so that's why I really liked it, but I would give it a 3-star. A 3-star is a good book. I'm just, again, not used to classics, you know what I mean? So I feel like I gotta get my foot more, I would highly recommend this book. I understand when people do say that it is like a great, Russian classic. It is a classic because I do agree with that. And it wasn't hard to read. It was not hard to read. So that was another thing too. But I think this gonna be a one and done. I don't need to read this anymore. I was looking at his other catalogs. I don't want to read War and Peace. No. I think I'm done. I wanted to read this. I'm glad. Now I'm in the process of wanting to read another classic. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. I do want to read another classic and do another series of like Black girl reading because I really did enjoy this. And like I told you guys, I really do want to get more into classics like I did last year. That was the first year where I read multiple classics, and so I want to continue to read classics this year. But yeah, guys, just wanted to give you a run through, a recap of the last chapter, the last part 8 of Anna Karenina. Again, I would highly recommend it. Guys, go back and watch the previous 3 episodes, Black girl reading Anna Karenina, because again, y'all see all my takes and I read passages and everything like that. I had a ball reading this book. I honestly did. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.